being the eternal optimist, this week I was surprised actually by a big notice that I saw on the tram stop about blooming Manchester. So yesterday it was quite a nice day yesterday. It was kind of almost spring-like. So I took myself off and I followed the trail, as it were, or some of it anyway. So let's see if I can relive that experience.
I had a little look at the blurb and I was extremely amused to read that at RHS Bridgewater, the crap apples are looking good.
Well, this is the official blurb, and as you can see, I think it's mainly under the National Trust auspices. So I decided, having threatened many times, to go along to the viaduct to have a look at what was going on there. You know, this the viaduct from Suffield, which is one half of the disused railway track that used to go into Central Station. And I didn't know whether you had to book or whatever, but I was welcomed in quite nicely by the people on the gate. They do tours apparently, but you can just go in and wander. So this is the first part of it, which is I don't know, a rewilding site. I think basically, I think that probably in a few weeks' time you'll be getting lots of colourful flowers and things here. But it's quite a long walk in, and then just little bits and pieces of information all over the place. It's really quite nice, actually. I was quite surprised.
Oh, that's good.
These planting things all over the place, and it's a little walk around. It's, you know, like a botanical garden type. But there's the big long walk.
Oh, that's lovely.
So, and it's kind of the juxtaposition of being slap bang in the centre of the city, you know, and there's this kind of old ironwork that reminds you, and then there's me taking a very tricksy photograph.
Oh, right.
Very good one.
Myself,
That's excellent.
Oh, that's great.
So
Have to put it in for a competition.
I don't think it's that. It's just how the way it turned out. I was walking, then I walked across the Roman, you know, the Roman fort thing and what have you. There's not much in the way of trees there, but as you get to the edge of it, it's a really cute little street here. You know, where the side of the Science Museum, where the air and space thing used to be, but that's gone now. It's being converted into studios of some kind, but I don't know what exactly. But there's these nice plantings all the way down here. This is one of the oldest parts of Manchester, actually. There's 3 Georgian pubs down here, and a Georgian chapel a bit further down, and of course the world's first railway station down at the bottom. I walked along past the Science Museum, and this is a part of Manchester which you may or may not know. I don't know. Lots of people don't seem to know it exists, but it's St John's Gardens, which is obviously an old churchyard. The church was demolished in the early part of the 20th century, but the gardens remain, and it's a really, really pleasant little surprise park. If you look at the back there, you see these houses here. These are probably the only examples of Queen Anne architecture in Manchester. These are beautiful.
That's lovely.
With these amazing doorways. If you look along, it's only a short terrace.
Marvellous, aren't they? Oh, yes.
This is another view of it, with a bit more sort of perspective in terms of what's going on around it. I think these might be, I don't think I've talked about this before, but at the end of the First World War, a lot of men came back from the war and they were unemployed or unable to, whatever, you know, maybe slightly disabled and stuff. And one of the ways they could earn money was to take some saplings of poplars, get on their bikes and plant them in various anywhere that they felt like, so planting them, you know, just so they used to get paid a few coppers for doing it. and most of them have disappeared. But here in St John Gartstadt, these are the Manchester poplars, and they survive here, and these are the best examples of them. But in Brasenose Square, which has been recently set up as a bit of a park, just off Albert Square, this we see where this chap's sitting here on the left. This is approximately where the old Twisted Wheel Club used to be. The very first Twisted Wheel used to be.
Gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, it moved later on up towards Piccadilly Station, but in fact, the original Twisted Wheel was in a basement cellar on this street here, which of course doesn't. All the buildings have all gone now, but that's where it was. Okay, this is the map that you can see on the tram stops. This is one is in Piccadilly Square, just pointing out where the trail goes. This is the bottom of Peter Street and Deansgate, the old goods warehouse. I think this is a really pleasant little place here because, of course, down in the amphitheatre here, there's a kiddies' playground as well, which is, which is in the middle of the city. Is quite nice. So there's lots of plantings, and maybe it's a bit early for too much blossom, or the trees are not that green yet, but nevertheless, you can feel it's on its way, hopefully. Square. These trees that they planted when they built the new tram stop always fascinate me.
Beautiful.
They cost
Lovely.
thousands of pounds each, and they have the most amazing blossom on them when it comes out, long before they get any greenery at all. And then the blossom drops and the trees turn rather luscious green leaves. I don't know what this statue of Pankhurst, but it just seems so small. I mean, it's actually the lady who made it life size, which is fine. I think it's a beautiful statue, but could easily miss it. But if it's got its own,
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's wonderful when you walk along the prom there, as it were. It's just so arresting and restful at the same time. I love it. I think it's brilliant. And the idea of standing on the chair.
Which of the Pankhursts is it, Graham?
Mrs. The mother, Emmeline.
Okay.
There we go. The art gallery steps. I quite like the way that they've put a little garden in the front of the art gallery nowadays. There's always kind of something going on there. It used to be rather sort of cold before, but and they put seats and stuff, and you can sit and have a coffee and stuff as well. I like this tree actually. I was very disappointed with this development here because they're in Chinatown. Because instead of making this into a proper garden, they made it into a flaming car park. So you've got the makings of a really, really nice Chinese garden here, with all the things on the outside of it. But it's absolutely filled with vehicles, Oh, this is Sackville Park, looking out onto the old UMIS building. It's a nice little park, actually. It's sort of there's Alan Turing down in the middle there, sitting on his bench. But anyway, there you go. And this is Whitworth Park, and I'm not quite sure which angle of Whitworth Park it is, but I always think Whitworth Park's quite a pretty park. I only ever pass it on a bus, but it's quite nice little, and it's not too far from the city centre. And this is another one I picked. This is Ardwick Green, which is another slightly forgotten park in the city that, unless you're coming from East Hyde Roadway, you're not likely to encounter, but I think it's lovely. And there are some very beautiful Georgian houses on one corner of it near the barracks on the bottom side.
Yes, there
are. Okay, wouldn't you know it, the prettiest view of Manchester is on the Canal Street. This is looking over the canal into Sackville Park. And, I don't know why I talked that really, but I just messing about. Here we are. We know what Nell does in his spare time.
Wonderful.
This is there's a new development on Canal Street. This is it's called Campus, as you can see. That's about, I don't know, about 15, 16-story block of student accommodation. But down below, it's all planted, and there's cafes and bars and stuff. But there's a lot of greenery there, and it's very, very close to Piccadilly Station, which is just here. But, and finally, I think this is finally anyway. Oh yeah, Mayfield Park, my little.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the word is, but this is something I try to promote people to go and see, because I think it's just fantastic. There's a river, I think it's the River Irk, that runs through it. Eventually joins up with the Irwell, but it was just an industrial wasteland, which has been reclaimed and made into the most beautiful park. 2-minute walk from Piccadilly Station. I just like these. They're building apartments in this area, but at least they've made some effort at decorating the fencing that while they're building it. I just like that. That's kind of. This made me laugh. No dogway or poo on the plants because our garden is trying to grow, so it's kind of. And you know what? I thought this is something that kids would take notice of, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's sort of like they would.
Yeah.
They like the word poo.
Rather
They
than
love the word poo.
writing sort of a really formal language. Yesterday it was packed with families picnicking and kids playing and people walking their dogs, and I thought that was really nice. Basically, that's it.
That's
was
lovely. Thank
Well
you.
done, Graham. Well done,
So-
Graham. It was great.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.